the possibility that you may have been fed wrong information by General Lincoln, because we now know that there was no basis for you to say
my apologies,
the documents have been intercepted, they have been
to a date to be communicated.
So I was right. To a date to be determined.
Yes, and statements should be filed by tomorrow midday.
If I say tomorrow, I mean, it's, must it be by midday if you don't even have a date? Why can't you say tomorrow, by tomorrow? So there was nothing wrong in what I said. Your statement to be filed by tomorrow, please. I'm not stating a time. Thank you. You are excused.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I blame Commissioner Kumalo.
No, I blame both my co-commissioners. They caused the confusion. Ms. Sigels-Ncube.
Thank you, Chair. We're continuing with the evidence of Mr. Adams. Good morning, Mr. Adams.
Good morning, Advocate. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, Mr. Adams.
Commissioner, Mr. Chairperson, before we proceed this morning, if I may address the Commissioner, the Chairperson in particular. Morning, Chair. Chairperson.
Good morning, Mr. Adams. Thank you.
You reprimanded me on 2 occasions yesterday for referring to you as Chief. I just want to firstly apologize if there was any slight, no harm was intended. In my view and in the manner I speak to you, it was meant as a term of respect, but I do understand that the term of respect required at this stage is Commissioner, not Chief, and I profusely apologize. And I will not do. I've actually made a note: do not call Commissioner Madlanga Chief.
From where I'm sitting, we are past it. You apologized yesterday, and that's from me. That's the end of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chair, before we continue with Mr. Adams' evidence, there's a matter about the recording that Ms. Ramsamy recorded upon the interview of Mr. Adams on the 6th of January 2025, where she had indicated during her testimony that she had recorded that consultation. The consultation is being made available to the Commission and to Mr. Adams on the basis that we are both entitled to listen to the recording, and to the extent that there's any aspect that we would want to utilize on condition that it relates to the matters before the Commission only, we would be able to extract those clippings and play those clippings before the Commission. We had extended that offer to Mr. Adams yesterday after the proceedings. He indicated he wasn't in a position then to listen to the full recording because it cannot be given to him. He must listen to it in the presence of somebody, a representative from the Commission, highlight where identify where what clippings he wants to play. If those clippings form part of subject matter before the Commission, then we will trim that clipping and play it for the Commission to corroborate whatever proposition he puts forward to the Commission. He indicated that he would be in a position to do that today, so we've made arrangements for him to start listening to the recording at tea time and then at lunch, and if there's anything he wants to use, we will then address it at 2 o'clock when we reconvene. But in the meantime, the Commission has undergone that exercise for the portions that it wants to use, the evidence leaders that it wants to use, and we will be playing some of those clippings during Mr. Adams' testimony. But just to place it on record that that is the arrangement, so that it cannot be said by anyone, in particular Mr. Adams, but in the meantime, the Commission has undergone that exercise for the portions that it wants to use, the evidence he can tell us what it is that he wants to the commissioners to hear. If it falls outside of matters before the commission, then the arrangement is that the commissioners will hear so that it cannot said that Mr. Adams says in particular Mr. Adams, but in the meantime, the commissioners undergone attached to it, and the commissioners then say when available to the evidence he can tell us what it is that he wants to maintain the sensitivity of matters if it falls outside of matters before the commission, because the arrangement is that the commission is the arrangement so that it cannot say that Mr. Adams says in particular Mr. Adams, but in the meantime, the commissioners undergone attached to it, and the commissioners then say when available to the evidence.
Listening over the tea and lunch adjournments, that's 1.5.
Yes, Chair, we've listened to the recording. There's about a 45-minute break where there's no audio because they've either gone to have coffee or gone for a smoke break. So we think that he should be able to get through it in the full 1.5 hours.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Mr. Adams, I just want you to confirm that that is the arrangement that we discussed yesterday.
Yes, it is, Advocate.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Adams, before we continue with the sequence of events, I just want to refer you to, I think it's file 9, page 3499. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, the document just before that is a supplementary affidavit by you on page 3497, and it references at paragraph 3, documentation in this regard is attached here to his annexure FA1, and it relates to allegations about the procurement of a forklift.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I just want you to confirm whether the documents at 3499 to 3512 are the documents that you say you found on your office floor.
Yes, this appears to be the documents, yes.
So it is 3499 to 3512.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But this is just...
Is that the sum total? Is that all the documents you received under your door?
I'm trying to go through it as quickly as I can, Commissioner.
No, take your time, and remember this is only in relation to the forklift. So it would only be forklift related. As I understand it, you say there was a polygraph test in respect of General Madondo, and some personal information as well. So that wouldn't be.
I withdraw my question then about these being the sum total. I withdraw that question.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. It was 3499 until 3512?
3512.
These are the documents. I'm actually questioning if it was this many documents, but this would appear to be what I handed over, yes.
Okay. If you go to 3501, you know what? Because that seems to, it's a page with manuscript with an address on there.
Yes,
was
ma'am.
that also in the file, or?
No, ma'am. This was not in the file.
Do you know that address?
That is my home address, my former home address.
Okay. So this document wouldn't have been part of that bundle?
No, ma'am. But this is definitely my scribble.
That's your handwriting?
That's my handwriting.
Okay. And it seems that it would have formed part of this FA1 that is referenced on page 3497.
3497.
Which is your affidavit, supplementary affidavit.
Yes, ma'am.
So, but for that page, everything else was what was contained in the envelope. Not everything, but all of those documents form part of what was in the envelope.
Ma'am, this, if I must tell you the honest truth, this seems a little bit more paperwork here than what I handed over, but it is in line with the paperwork that I handed over. And this, again, this is one of the reasons why I laid a criminal case against IDAC, because there are things in this document, in this case, that bother me. And if this investigation is ongoing, then I personally suggest, and the Commission must guide me, that I don't talk about this if it's under investigation. But I can tell you now, I handed over documents. The first one, 3511, yes. I can't tell you exactly, but this appears, and I may even be wrong, but this appears to be more documents than I gave them.
Okay, let's just go through it. 3499 is an application for procurement of goods.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recall that document?
This is the one I recall.
And that would be 3499 and 3500.
Yes, ma'am.
And then we skip 3501 and go to 3502. You did speak about confirmation, bank confirmations. That seems to be a bank confirmation.
Yes, ma'am, that definitely was in there.
3502.
I don't.
03?
I could be wrong. I don't recall this.
You don't recall the purchase
I
order?
don't. No, I don't recall this, ma'am, and I may be wrong. 3504, definitely.
3504 is the statement. You do recall that?
That I do recall. I can't say with certainty about the others. And I'm going to say, and I know this might not really help you, I'm unsure.
Okay. And then 3505, which was the application for approval in the information note, confidential, marked confidential.
I do not recall this. No. And when I see the confidential mark there, I do recall that.
So the information note didn't form part of what was contained?
What was that, ma'am?
The information note that I'm referring you to, that starts on page 3505.
That, yes, with a confidential mark on it.
That wasn't contained in the envelope?
No, that was.
Okay, so it was?
It was. When I see the confidential mark, it just strikes something in me.
When you say that was, what do you mean? Do you mean it was contained?
No, I do remember this one. I do remember that.
Okay.
Just because of the confidential, the rest of it, like reading through it, but the confidential note there, I do remember that.
Okay, so that would be 3505 to 3510.
I do not remember. For example, 3508, and I'm not saying it wasn't there. I do not remember that.
Well, it's part of that document.
It's one document, it's one continuous document.
Yes, I understand that, Justice Madlanga,
Yeah.
Commissioner Madlanga. What I'm saying is in the sequence that it is. If you're asking me about, let's say the first page, 3505, the confidential note, I remember that. I remember the stamp clearly. What I'm saying is, if you're asking me was 3506 there, I do not remember reading it. And I may have,
But the probability is that it must.
The probability is that it was there.
It must have been there. Yeah.
Yes. And 3510 has General Lushaba's title, his name, and signature. That you would have recalled.
3510?
Yes.
Yes, I believe I did.
Okay. And
I remember seeing this one.
And 3511, which is the invoice.
I'm going to say yes.
Okay. And then proof of payment on 3512.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then we know in addition to that, it was the stuff related to General Madondo.
Yes, ma'am.
But there was nothing in the envelope that you received that related to General Lushaba's housebreaking incident?
No, ma'am.
Okay. That came, you became aware of that information when?
I wouldn't be able to give you an exact date, but if I check what day I laid the charges, it would have been round about that time because I acted on that like quickly.
Yeah, that's what I want to explore with you. So your evidence is that you acted on the confidential information in that envelope that you found in your office, but it didn't contain anything regarding General Lushaba's housebreaking matter.
When you put, yes, yes, I'm actually confused. No, I was wrong. And if I can correct myself, if the commission allows me to correct myself, I think I was wrong. I don't think that was in the envelope. I do not think it was in the envelope.
What do you not think was in the envelope?
The General Lushaba issue. I do not think so. Now that you put it to me.
Okay.
I don't think so.
And did you know about the General Lushaba housebreaking incident before you received these documents under your door?
There had always been rumors about the break-in. I didn't even know that General Lushaba was the CFO of Crime Intelligence when I first heard about it. And if I remember correctly, it would have been either, and I really hope that they don't hate me for this, it would have been either Patricia Mashali or Professor Das or Mary Das that mentioned it, but it was just a passing conversation as we spoke. I would tell you on this issue, 90% of what I got from General Andre Lincoln.
You got from?
General Andre Lincoln. When I'm talking about like the things that were thrown at me, for example, General Kumalo didn't have a security clearance when he was given the job at Crime Intelligence. That was information I got from General Lincoln. When he said to me that his first clearance was cooked, it was fraudulent. That is something that I could not confirm until I spoke to Brigadier Tiani Shlongweni. Therefore, I didn't make a big issue out of it because I didn't have proof of it. But generally, not even generally, when General Lincoln said something, he was normally spot on.
Okay.
General
so
Lincoln.
He was your
when
source
he said
for
to
those,
me that his first in these cases, ma'am, it was fraudulent. This was the man. He was my go-to. If I may, commissioners, no, I'm rather not going to. It's fine. I had a conversation with someone this morning. I'd rather not. It's fine.
Okay. Now, let's then move on to, just to recap yesterday, I understood you to say that we dealt with what happened with General Lincoln and the missing docket issue. Is it fair to say that you didn't mention General Lincoln to anyone before you appeared before ad hoc?
No, ma'am. General Lincoln's friendship with me was never a secret.
No, not your friendship.
Oh.
That he was the source of the information that your dockets had gone missing.
I've never, if you look at the cases that I mentioned yesterday, the fraud and corruption within the city, in fleet management, in housing, I've never mentioned my source to anyone.
No, I understand that. My question is more specific, so just answer the question that I'm asking. When you engaged with General Patikile, and we know you didn't tell him that General Lincoln was your source. When you engage with the IGI, you don't tell them that General Lincoln is your source as to the missing dockets, correct?
100%.
And when you complained to the minister on the 1st of November, you also don't mention General Lincoln.
No, ma'am.
And when you complain when your matter is then dealt with by IDAC and you meet with IDAC in your section 27, you don't mention that, and you don't mention it when you meet with them on the 6th of January 2025.
No, ma'am.
Okay. And General Lincoln dies in May 2025. And then, after he dies, you appear before ad hoc, and then you reveal that General Lincoln was your source.
When General Lincoln died suddenly, very suddenly, and he himself had said that when it's necessary, he will come forward. That the fact that I don't mention him to the minister, to the IGI, to the IDAC, that's why it's called a confidential source. And also, General Lincoln was in the process of fighting to have his pension paid out. It wouldn't have helped him in that, excuse me, I think, Advocate Sullivan, I have the same cough this morning. I think that it wouldn't have helped him if the people that control the SAPs knew that he was fighting them So I had no reason to mention the man.
But the bottom line is you only reveal him as your source after he dies.
I wouldn't have mentioned him if he was alive.
Okay. Now, regarding Mr. Cameron, when you appeared before the ad hoc committee, you didn't mention to the ad hoc committee that you had mentioned the receipt of the confidential documents to to Mr. Cameron.
I didn't.
Why didn't you?
I didn't mention it. I should have. The question was never asked. And to be honest, I was actually a bit upset at Mr. Cameron also at the time, come to think of it, because he moved heaven and earth, A, not to have me on the ad hoc committee, and 2, not to have me there as a witness. And in hindsight, I should have. I can't even call something that stupid an oversight, but I should have.
And you didn't mention it in your affidavit before this commission
No,
either?
ma'am. There's a lot of things I don't mention in my affidavit because I could be here for a year. I've given in my affidavit the evidence. Remember, I was under extreme pressure with the time frames given to get this thing done. And even then, I didn't succeed. There was a lot of things that I would have liked to have added. And even, was it yesterday or the day before, I was still sending late supplementaries. It was all about time, man. In this case, before this commission, it was all about time. I had days to get this thing done. And if you look at the volume of my annexures, I had to go and find them, I had to go and search for them, I had to go and ask people for things. It wasn't an easy task.
Okay. Putting Mr. Cameron aside, did you raise the issue with the portfolio committee before you went to go and lay the criminal charges after receipt of the documents?
I did raise it with the portfolio committee. I would lie to you now if I told you it was before or after, but I did raise these issues.
Okay, you did raise it with them. Okay.
I'm just trying to think. The portfolio meets on a Wednesday, once a week. I think I laid these charges on a Thursday, so it would have been after. And please don't. If I'm wrong, but I think it would have been after.
You see, I find it curious that you're before the ad hoc committee. Mr. Cameron is in that ad hoc committee, and you don't mention. Remember, Ian, I had actually told you about this before I laid the criminal charges, and I raised this with the portfolio committee as well. You don't mention that in your evidence.
Sorry. I didn't, and you know what is even stranger than that? That on the day that I'm testifying, Honorable Cameron absents himself from it. If he was there, I can guarantee you I would have raised it. He wasn't there. When the cross-questioning happened, and the cross-questioning was brutal, my biggest critic wasn't in the room.
Okay. Can I take you to the transcript of your ad hoc testimony? That's on 4049.
Oh, it was in here. Sorry. Thank you.
Sorry, it's 9B.
9B. It's 9A. I've got 9B. Same file.
4049.
No, I think it's this one. No, it's not this one. Oh, here you go.
The paragraphs are unnumbered, so you'll just have to count them. It's the 5th paragraph on that page.
Fifth paragraph?
Yes, it starts with Mr. Adams. Just before you go, and I am sorry to interrupt, you're being questioned. Do you see that?
Must I read the paragraph?
No. Just want to make sure you have it. The last sentence in that paragraph says, so you are quite familiar that information must be treated a certain way. You mentioned a mistake in your statement. I do not think your answer that you are not an
excuse
investigator.
Me, Advocate. Excuse me. I'm at the 5th page of 4049.
Yes.
You're telling me the last sentence.
No, count 5 paragraphs.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
I'm on 5?
Yes. And then
Advocate Magotsi.
Yes, and
Okay.
then there's the last sentence of that paragraph.
So the last sentence in my 1, 2, 3, 5 says, you mentioned a mistake in your statement.
Yes.
Okay.
I do not think your answer that you are not an investigator is sufficient. Do you see, are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you.
Because you know better at a portfolio committee, as a portfolio committee member, then you answer. I actually do agree with you, Advocate. So on the issue of the validation of the documentation, I had no means to do that. And I did not want to bring it to the police committee, because you can ask Honorable Skosana, you can ask Honorable James and Matisse, the fights that we have within that committee with regards to classification. You can also ask Honorable Shongwe, because it is my understanding that the classification of crime is a crime. And I am backed up in that with the Vuma versus IPID case and the misconduct, because we have brought criminality to the police portfolio where the generals hide behind classification. Now, our founding document, the Constitution, makes no provision for the classification of crime, and therefore I was only going to do this one way, whatever the result. So here it seems to suggest that you actually didn't bring it to the portfolio committee.
No, ma'am. You can check on YouTube. It was online. I remember the fights about these things. I did.
Yes, but my question is before you go and lay the charges.
Oh, did I bring it to the portfolio before I lay the charges? That's why I said to you, I was unsure if it was before or after, but I did bring it to the portfolio committee.
Yes, her questioning is also in line with before the charges, because she's saying to you, receive the documents, you know how to handle them, why don't you report it to the portfolio committee?
I am confused as to the handling of the documents. I received the documents. That's a fact. That is something that I've stated many times. Handing it to the portfolio committee wouldn't have done anything, but I did mention it to the portfolio committee. I was never going to take it to the portfolio committee, because the portfolio committee is not an investigative body, it's an oversight body. So my understanding, and if I'm looking at all of this, and it's a lot of reading, this is one of the things that I did not read last night. One of the things that was sent to me because it was too voluminous and the time wasn't there. So what I'm saying is that I didn't hand it to the portfolio committee. Remember, there's a classified stamp on the one thing. I can't hand it to there's a confidential side. I can't hand it. This is why even when I laid the charges, I didn't hand it to the police. I said, when the investigator gets to me, I'll give it to him. I couldn't hand it. If we're on the same page here.
No, I understand what you're saying. My question is, before you go and lay the charge, are we at idem now that you didn't mention it or bring it to the attention of the portfolio committee before you went to go and lay the charges at Grand Central?
No, ma'am.
What you say is you mentioned it to Mr. Cameron.
Yes, ma'am.
And you say that only when I asked you yesterday whether you did so.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct. Okay. Now,
if I may also, you know, as there's 400 members of parliament and we talk a lot, I didn't have a sit down with Honorable Cameron about this issue. It was just, this is what I got. I think it's severe. I think I must move on it. It was one of those conversations. And I'm not going to tell you how many of those conversations, but we do have those conversations amongst each other.
Okay. Now, when you then go and you open the cases in Orlando, how do you know to go there? I mean, I know why you're going to another province. You're going to Gauteng because General Lincoln says to you, don't do it in Cape Town, you must do it in another province. So you decide to go to Gauteng. How do you end up choosing Orlando?
I went to Orlando because it's one of the police stations I know, because whenever we drive past that side, that stands out. I'm not from Johannesburg. For instance, if you were to come to Cape Town, you'd have probably heard of Grand Central Police Station. You might have heard about Manenberg Police Station. No, there isn't a Manenberg Police Station, sorry. Mitchell's Plain Police Station. But chances are you wouldn't have heard of Steenberg Police Station, Ocean Views Police Station. So it's a question of, I wouldn't say familiarity, but maybe it's a beacon.
So you fly to Johannesburg, to Gauteng, you go to Orlando, and you're going on your own there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And when you get there, what happens?
Now, this is the part that, and I think I'm going to irritate you with this. We're worried about our dockets disappearing again. I am sent a contact by Andre Lincoln The contact's name is Elvis. He says to me, when you're close to the police station, call. He'll assist you. I get to the police station. I wasn't close. I was actually in the police station when I called Elvis. I almost imagine he happened to be outside. I almost imagine. Maybe the cameras can confirm. And he led me inside, and I'm thinking, did he take my doc? Did he take my statement, or did he? This is going back 2 years. Did he take my statement, or did he take me to an investigator, to a constable? I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I'm sure we can check in the docket.
And who's Elvis? Is he a police officer?
I saw him that once. He's a colonel, because they addressed him as colonel. I saw him that once, never saw him again.
Okay.
Did you know him before?
No.
Before that day?
No. I received his contact on the morning, because I was just going to go to the police station. On the morning, General Lincoln sends me that, and he says, speak to this guy when you get there. First he asked me, are you still going to Orlando? I said, yeah. He said, speak to this guy.
Okay, so General Lincoln knew you were going to go to Orlando specifically. Okay. Go to page...
Is he the one that said you must go to Orlando? How do you pick Orlando?
I said I was going to. You know, that's one of the police stations that I would know in Joburg. I wouldn't know many others.
So you had been to this police station before?
I had met someone there before.
You had been to...
I had met someone there before. I have some family members in Joburg, and I was lost one day, and I was told, meet me at Orlando police station. It was that kind of situation.
Ms. Lube, maybe this is a good time to ask my question. Mr. Adams, there was a lot of activity in December 2024, and a lot of it involved Mr. Brown Mokgotsi assisting people with opening cases in Soweto. Did you, by any chance, speak to Mr. Brown Mokgotsi around November, December 2024?
General Lincoln was in contact with Mr. Brown Mokgotsi, who he told me was someone that was close to the minister, something that I now know to be a lie, not from General Lincoln's side. I had met Mr. Mokgotsi, spoken to Mr. Mokgotsi, sorry, on the phone once.
Take it slow. When did you speak to Mr. Mokgotsi?
I couldn't tell you if it was November of 2024 or December of 2024 or January of 20, but I had spoken to him on the phone once.
Because almost every case that is opened in Soweto relating to our terms of reference somehow has Mr. Mokgotsi's fingerprints. So listening to you, I suspected that you end up in Orlando because that was Mr. Mokgotsi's idea, and I could be completely wrong. That's why I needed you to ask the question so that you can assist us. What was Mr. Brown Mokgotsi's involvement in you ending up opening these cases and opening them in Soweto? And what was his communication with you and Mr. Lincoln?
From my side, there was no communication with Mr. Mokgotsi. Not on that issue. My communication with Mr. Mokgotsi happened on the phone with Andre Lincoln regarding...
It was a three-way call?
No, I was at his house on the day. He was speaking to him.
You were at Mr. Lincoln's house?
I was at Mr. Lincoln's house.
And it was in November 2020?
I couldn't tell you that.
But it was before you opened these cases?
I didn't write down the date, if you understand what I'm saying. It was just a phone call.
I don't need the exact date. I need to know, was it before you opened the cases?
I think it was after, but I don't want to lie to you, Commissioner, so it's hard for me to say. It was just a phone call. It was just, I was sitting at the General's house. This gentleman phoned. He said to me, say hello to the minister's friend, Brown.
And you were discussing crime intelligence issues?
No.
You were not?
Andre Lincoln, as I explained to the advocate earlier, had not been paid his pension.
Okay.
And he was complaining to Mr. Mokgotsi that the minister was doing nothing about it and it was unfair. And my involvement in that conversation was, not even Mr. Mokgotsi, I said, Brown, this is a good man, he served this country, this is not right. Okay. That was the conversation.
And that's where it ended?
That's where it ended.
And then did Mr. Lincoln say anything to you about Brown Mokgotsi assisting to open the cases?
No, sir.
No. Thank you.
Okay, go to page 3912 of 9B.
Same file?
Yes.
I have it.
3912 on in file 9B.
Yes, ma'am.
This is the witness statement of a witness that we refer to as witness G, who has been identified as so-called Mr. Brown Mohotsi, so-called handler. He's in crime intelligence.
Yes, ma'am.
And he's a colonel. And if you go to page 3918, this is part of his statement where he was asked about his relationship with Mr. FADIEL Adams. And he says, I have known Mr. FADIEL Adams while he was an activist prior to him being a member of parliament associated with the National Colored Congress. And he was asked your involvement in assisting Mr. FADIEL Adams to register a case in Orlando Police Station, including the type of allegations and or charges thereof. He says, Mr. Adams contacted me telephonically requesting assistance to open a case. I informed him that I would be in the vicinity of the Orlando precinct policing area the following day and that he could meet with me at the Orlando police station in the afternoon. The following day, when Mr. Adams arrived at the Orlando police station, I referred him to a detective and informed the detective to attend to Mr. Adams by taking his statement and or opening the case. I did not ask Mr. Adams the details or nature of the case he was opening. Now, do you know witness G?
This is the man that I described as Elvis.
Okay. And did he assist you in opening this case?
I called him. I did call him, but I think he's got his details wrong, the sequence of events. I called him, and I told him that I would be coming to the Orlando police station. I see he's saying that he would be in the vicinity. Maybe he was in the vicinity, but I told him I would be coming there. I see on the previous page that he's, I don't know if that's in, let me just check. Where's the sword now? Sorry about this. He says, I don't know, well, he doesn't say that he's a, no, I thought it said he was a handler. Sorry. But as I say, I contacted him when I was at the police station. I was at the police station. I thought he worked at the station.
Well, he says you contacted him before, so the day before.
No, ma'am.
Because he says the following day when you arrived at the Orlando police station, he referred you to a detective. So you had the discussion the day before.
No, ma'am. I called him on the day. I received his details at the airport, literally as I was getting into the Uber.
But he says that he's known you as an activist prior to you being a member of parliament.
Many people know me, ma'am, because of my activism. I've been on TV many times because of Gatful Capetonian and the National Colored Congress. I do not know this man. I've seen him once at the police station on the day. If he's inferring that we know each other, we don't know each other.
So it was him that chose the Orlando police station, not you?
No, ma'am, it was me.
So he's lying?
I wouldn't call him a liar because I don't know him well enough. I think he's got his details mixed up. It was a long time ago. I called him and I told him I'm at the Orlando police station. I should have called you earlier. He said, no, it's fine, I am here.
And you say he called you, or you called him because you got his details from General Lincoln?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I thought, the way I see it, he and General Lincoln knew each other. General Lincoln said to him, listen here, we've got a serious case. The dockets are disappearing. Can you assist? I don't know if General Lincoln told him I'm coming to Orlando. I don't know any of that. I was going to Orlando. I called him when I was there. He was there. And now that you've mentioned it, or now that he said it, I'm still unsure myself if it was he that took the statement or if he assigned me to someone, but he says that he assigned me to a detective and we can check in the docket.
And did you know that, so are you saying that you only spoke to him that one time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and never again?
Never again.
And never before?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So you wouldn't be aware that he has a long-standing relationship with General Khan?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And you wouldn't know that him and General Khan are friends?
I didn't ask any of that, ma'am.
And did you know at the time when you spoke to him that he was Mr. Mogotsi's handler?
I suspected that I saw something like that. That's why I went looking for it. I did not know. Remember, at that time, the country didn't know that Brown Mogotsi was I don't know if he is a CI, but the country didn't know it. I had been introduced on the phone to this man, and afterwards, well, before, sorry, I was told this man is close to the minister. I'm assuming he's a person of influence. I didn't know he's a CI.
And when you met with the IDAC officials and they asked you about this, what did you tell them when you were asked by Ms. Ramsamy about going to Orlando? Why did you pick the Orlando police station and whether you had any contacts there?
I would need to listen to the recording to confirm that. It was a long time ago.
Okay. She did ask you that question specifically. Would you have told her about the person that you refer to as Elvis?
I'd need to listen to the recording first.
Okay, we'll listen to the recording. But so what you're saying is that it is coincidence that the person who assisted you with opening these dockets in Orlando is also a person who is from Crime Intelligence, a friend of General Khan, the handler of Mr. Brown Mogotsi, who has an association with Minister Mkunu, who you complained to the very next day about your missing dockets.
I am low-key surprised by some of it. Not that much surprises me about the SAPs these days. I have no association with General Khan. I've seen him at a dinner that was organized for Imtiaz Suleiman. I don't know where I fit into all of that. My relationship with Elvis is based on a WhatsApp contact that I was sent by my person. Whether they knew each other, whether General Lincoln knew General Khan on a personal level, I don't know. He spoke of General Khan on and off. I've got nothing to do with any of that.
So, if I understand it, General Lincoln, who was a retired general at the time, had so much knowledge about what was happening within Crime Intelligence that he was feeding you this information?
I would say yes.
Okay. And do you know where he got the information from?
Ma'am, if only that man knew so much about SAPS, about the underworld. I mean, it was his job. He was the head of the AGU. There was literally nothing you could ask him that he couldn't answer you on in these terms. If you mentioned a policeman to Andre Lincoln, he'd tell you that's a good guy. Nope, don't bother with that one. He was in terms of SAPS, he was a walking encyclopedia. That's why when he told me the dockets have been intercepted and it shouldn't have happened, I believed him without questioning him.
You said something earlier that he introduced you to Mr. Mogotsi on the phone.
Yes, ma'am.
When you were at his place. And he introduced Mr. Mogotsi as someone who is close to the minister. And as you were sitting there now, you said, now you know it was a lie, that Mr. Mogotsi is a friend of the minister.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Which means when General Lincoln told you that Mr. Mogotsi is a friend of the minister, that was not correct. What General Lincoln told you was in fact not a fact.
I understand.
According to you.
Sorry. I understand that was wrong.
Okay.
And if I may, I do not think that General Lincoln lied. I think Brown Mogotsi misrepresented
Yeah, no. Let's not go there.
Sorry.
General Lincoln is not here to tell us about that telephone conversation, and I don't want us to speculate about Mogotsi. That's not the point of what I want to raise with you. Yesterday we went through the investigation diary, and it was shown to you that if you were told that your docket has been removed and is not being worked on, that is not correct, because on the very day that you laid your charge, there are notes that shows that someone was working on the docket, and I think you fairly accepted that that's what that docket indicated. Here's my proposition to you for your comment, that therefore, when General Lincoln, and if he did, say to you, your docket has disappeared on that day already, when you laid a charge, that could not have been correct. He was mistaken about it, because we saw from the diary. At best, he was mistaken. Two, he was misinforming you, because on the face of the diary, we do see entries that indicate that on the very day, and the 31st, in fact, work was happening on that docket. On that docket, would you be prepared to accept that? He may have been mistaken. He's not here to explain himself.
Or three, you are not telling us the truth about him having told you this at all.
Where do I start?
Answer all of them.
I'm going to grudgingly accept that my friend may have been wrong. And even as I say that, in the back of my head, I'm wondering if he was wrong. But before this commission and before what's placed in front of me, I have to accept your point. And to you, Chairperson, I'm not lying.
You see, the great problem, and I'm sure that's what Ms. Segal's movie is leading up to, the problem is there appears to have been unseemly haste about all of this. You've just laid a charge. You immediately rush off to Johannesburg to lay the same charges. There was just unseemly haste, as if there was something behind all of this. But you may comment if you want to.
Yes, Chair, I will. On the issues of policing and the safety of my community, there's never enough haste. There's never enough haste. That is why I respond immediately.
Your community being the South African populace, or who are you talking about when you say your community?
I'm talking about the Cape Flats where I reside, sir, where the war's on. There's never enough haste. Last night, I haven't checked the figures. I can tell you now, last night, 7 to 12 people died on the Cape Flats. There's never enough haste. So I understand your point, and I concede your point, that it might seem like it was in a hurry. But I try to get things done immediately. So I do concede, I consider what you're saying. And if I was sitting there talking to you, I might hold the same view. But if you see the view from where I'm standing, there's never enough haste. If I could have left on the same day, I would have.
Earlier you mentioned the airport in response to one of the questions by Ms. Segal's. Did I hear you correctly? I think you did mention the airport.
I mentioned receiving the contact at the airport. Yeah.
Airport. Was that the same day you went to Orlando Police Station?
Yes, Chairperson.
Did you go to Orlando Police Station right from the airport, or did you first go somewhere else?
I think I might have stopped for a coffee because it was an early flight.
But you were bound, you were Orlando bound.
Yes, sir.
After landing, then your next stop, except for the coffee, was Orlando Police
Yes,
Station.
Chairperson.
Kempton Park, I'm sure it does have a police station, and the airport is right next door to Kempton Park.
Never been to Kempton Park, Chairperson.
No, but do you agree that it's right next door to?
Well, now that you tell me, I mean, if I'm a Cape Townian boy, Chairperson, I can tell you now the areas I know in Johannesburg, the areas I know, and I couldn't find it myself right now. Is Aldo's?
Let's not lengthen it, please. Let us not. You accept that OR Tambo International, is that where you landed? OR Tambo International?
Sir.
Yes. Do you accept that Kempton Park is right next door to Kempton Park?
I can't argue with that, Chairperson.
It is, it's a fact, it's a fact. And there is a police station in Kempton Park, right next door to OR Tambo. And it would have been a matter of relative ease for you to establish, if for whatever reason you felt like leaving Cape Town and coming all the way to Johannesburg, more than 2 hours or about 2 hours on a flight to come lay your charges in Johannesburg. it would have been a matter of relative ease for you to just do some homework. Once I've landed, where's the nearest police station I can go to? Instead of just saying, oh, by the way, I happen to know that there is a police station somewhere that I once went to, regardless of how far it is from the airport. It would have been a matter of relative ease for you to establish what's the nearest police station from the airport, was it not?
Yes, Chairperson.
It was. And
Yes.
you never engaged in that exercise.
Excuse me, Chair,
You never engaged in that exercise. You just chose to go all the way to the southern part of Johannesburg.
Chairperson.
Which Soweto is, which Orlando, which is in Soweto, is. Southern part. I won't say it's the furthest part of Johannesburg, but it's close to being one of the furthest parts of Johannesburg. That's your choice, instead of going to a police station right next door to OR Tambo International. That's what you chose,
Yes, Chairperson.
instead of the relatively easy thing of finding out where's the nearest police station. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Adams, I'm now going to play 2 recordings from that meeting of the consultation of 6 January 2025. The first is the introduction. It's a short clip. And then the second is where there's a detailed discussion about you laying the charges. And once we've done playing the introduction part, I will explain to you why there are 2 reasons for that I'm playing the introduction.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. That's Advocate Ramsamy. And Mr. How are you? Compliments this season. This one. Who's the storeman? Soon to be senior investigator.
That we need those headphones which you gave us rather unexpectedly.
I did say that it should be ready, Chair. I'm not sure if they do have them.
Which caused us to become a meme.
Chair, Mr. Michael said we'll need to take a short stand down for them to just arrange.
Do you want maybe us to ask a few questions before, so that we don't come back and
Yes.
ask later, just to save time? Mr. Adams, I'm still in October, November 2024. Did you know Mr. Nkabinde at this point?
Chairperson, I heard of Mr. Nkabinde after I had laid the charges and complained to the minister. So to answer you categorically, my first conversation with him was when he called me, maybe a week after his office had made the IDAC referral. No, it was less than a week, to ask me if the IDAC had contacted me yet.
So you did not know him before you laid the charges?
No,
That's
no,
my
sir.
point.
No, sir.
Okay.
Let's find out, you went to Orlando to lay the charges, and then you also went to Langlaagte. Was it all done on the same day?
No, Chairperson. No, Commissioner. Sorry, I'm getting the titles mixed.
Can you just explain which was done when and why you decided to split them into Orlando and Langlaagte?
What happened in that case was I had laid the first batch of charges at Orlando, if my memory is serving me correctly.
Those were what? Which cases are those?
Those were the same cases where the dockets were intercepted against General Madondo, Lushaba, and Kumalo.
Okay.
And just on that case, Commissioner, just to give you some clarity on that topic, if the inference is that I knew that the man I know as Elvis was related, involved with General Khan, I would have surely have given him the information I had. I didn't. I opened the dockets and I left. I would hand it over when the investigators come. The second matter, and I'm actually trying to think if it was the Makwele matter that I went to go lay at Orlando, because we laid quite a few charges, is that information came to me later. And because I no longer had trust in Western Cape SAPS, and as you say, it might have been misplaced. I decided to go to Joburg again because we were seemingly getting results here.
So the Langlaagte case was laid on a different day after you had gone back to Cape Town and you came back up here for that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And Langlaagte is what? Is it just the Lushaba matter?
I'm trying to think
you
which case it
repeated
was.
all of them?
Excuse me?
I say, is it,
It was
just
the Lushaba matter.
Just the Lushaba matter?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The same one that you had laid in Orlando?
No.
Cape Town.
I'm just a little bit confused. I might need to look into the docket. I think it was the Mukwele matter, if I remember correctly. I'd need to look at the docket.
Langlaagte is Mukwele?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
How did you know how
Langlaagte
to
is...
split
Yes, sir.
the charges? Sorry, Ms. Siegels. How did you know how to split the charges? So when you first opened the cases in Cape Town, you opened 3 or 4. How did you know how to split each of them?
May I answer?
Yes.
I was trying to make it hard for whoever was trying to collect the dockets, if you understand what I'm saying.
So it was a deliberate decision to separate them
Yes.
into separate dockets?
Yes, but also more information came from.
Because you did it on the same day, so I'm curious to know, you said you wanted to open 3 separate cases or 4 separate cases when you got there. What did you do exactly when you got there?
So, was it on the same day?
Yes.
If it was on the same day, the reasoning is, like I say, I didn't want to trust the dockets with just one person. That is what, and this is something that I had discussed with people, that maybe we should just spread it around, make it harder for them to collect. That was the thinking. I mean, it might sound a little bit far-fetched to you, but we were desperate to get these
And
things.
nobody advised you to do that, it was your decision?
No, that was consultation with General Lincoln and a captain on the phone whose name I don't remember. We were on the phone and he said, just move it around a bit if you can.
And no politician influenced you? You didn't speak to any politician about the cases you wanted to open in Cape Town?
Other than Ian Cameron, I didn't speak to anyone else.
Ms. Ngube, you wanted to correct something about Langlaagte?
Yes, Commissioner Baloyi, Langlaagte is the forklift matter. And just on Chair's point, there is a police station at the airport, at OR Tambo Airport. You aware of that?
There is a police station at every airport, but my understanding, just like Parliament's police, they also have limited, they've got a very narrow scope. Like, for instance, I don't think parliamentary police can do investigation. Their job is to secure Parliament, look after the VIPs, that type of thing. And I'm almost 100% sure that the airport has its own scope, that they must secure the national key points. I don't think they have time or resources for investigation. I do take the Chair's point that Kempton Park is right next door.
And you didn't go.
And when I think about it now, it would have made sense. But for me, in my head, there are a few police stations I know. I complicated things with that, but thank you, Chairperson.
Maybe, I know, sorry, Ms. Ngube, that to be jumping in. Maybe tell us, who are the people that you discussed this with, the laying of the charges? Because you've just said something very important. You say that when we discussed it, we said, let's lay many cases or something, I paraphrase, so that none, if one takes the others remain. Who did you discuss? You spoke to General Lincoln, you tell us that. Who else did you discuss your intention or your plan to go and lay criminal charges arising from whatever information you have? It's certainly more than General Lincoln, because you do say that when we discussed it.
If I have to mention people, Commissioner, if you will provide, I might as well mention the names. The one is Honorable Sakina Frenchman, who is a fellow MP. I didn't show.
Who's that?
Sakina Frenchman. Mm-hmm. I can spell the name for you later. It's a little bit. I can write it down for you.
We've seen it in your emails.
That's the one.
You don't need to do that.
The other one is a colleague of mine within NCC. He's Councillor Nazmi Jacobs. And the other one was I can't remember this captain's name, but I know he was in firearms control. General Lincoln had him on the phone one day while we were talking about this.
So the decision or the idea to lay charges is a matter that was discussed and planned by a group of people. You've given us 3 names, General Lincoln and now you. So all 5 of you agreed and planned to lay charges and how you were going to go about it so that the dockets don't disappear.
Commissioner, to put it like this, laying the charges was something that I had discussed with General Lincoln, and I told Honorable Sakina Frenchman I'm going to lay charges. When those dockets end up in Pretoria, we sit down and we discuss how to prevent the dockets disappearing again, how to make it harder. And that is what there was no plan to go and lay initial charges. And if my information that the dockets had disappeared, if that doesn't happen, then I never come to Johannesburg to lay charges.
So, I think you say Honorable Sakina, that's a member of parliament.
She's a member of parliament.
So there was the involvement of a politician. Other than you, there is a politician that was involved in the decision to lay charges and how you are going to do it. Because you do on your own ways. Let me finish. And if you have any doubt about what you said, the record will reflect that. On your own words, you say, we discussed this and how we are going to do it. Let's lay many charges, open many dockets, so that when they take one, the others survive. So there's a discussion with people. What I'm clarifying now with you was, certainly from your testimony now, we know there's another politician that is involved in the discussion plan and the how about to do it decision to lay charges. That's a fair summary.
I had mentioned her yesterday in that I had spoken to her about it. And so when I mentioned Ian Cameron, sorry, again, my mix-up. I had mentioned speaking to her yesterday, and I had mentioned speaking to Ian Cameron. Sorry if
I may have missed it.
I muddy the water.
I'm clarified now.
No, that's actually my fault, not yours. Sorry, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you have something else to continue with until the tea break, perhaps that's what we should do. And
we can do that, Chair.
Yes.
Can we then just deal with what happens after you lay the charges at Orlando? So that's on the 31st of October.
Okay, which page do you want me to go?
I'm asking the timeline. So on the 31st of October, you lay those charges and you get the case number immediately, the case numbers, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then we know that the very next morning, you write an email to the minister. Why did you do that?
Because are we on the first lot of cases or the second? Because my
So
memory
the 1st of November, let's go to the...
I'm asking if it's the Cape Town cases or the Joburg cases.
It's
Sorry.
the Joburg cases. Cape Town, I know it's such a short period, that's why you can get confused. 29th is the Cape Town. You fly to Johannesburg, and on the 31st, you open the Orlando cases, and on the 1st of November, you send, the morning of the 1st of November, you send an email to the minister via Ms. Frenchman. So that's on page 3977 of bundle 9B, 3977. It's a duplicate of your documents, but it's a clearer copy.
Yes, ma'am, I see it.
So it starts at the bottom of 3977, Sakina Frenchman to Edward Senzongunu on the 1st of November at 8:21 a.m. Charges laid by NCC. NCC would be your party.
Yes, ma'am.
If you look at the next page, 3978, you'll see that she, although it's from her email address, it says regards Honorable FADIEL Adams.
Yes, ma'am.
And if we then go back to 3977, it says to Minister of Police, 1, I have opened cases in the Western Cape on a number of senior SAPS personnel as per the following case dockets, as per Grand Central, and then it gives the case numbers. 2, I was told that the dockets were intercepted. Now, let's just pause there. So these are now the Cape Town dockets that you were told was intercepted.
Yes,
3, in my quest for justice, I traveled to Gauteng and opened the following dockets as per Orlando SAPS, and you give the name, the numbers. 4, However, I have also been notified that the Gauteng Police Department has followed the same modus operandi as the Western Cape PC and is interfering in the investigative process. And let's pause there. Laid the charges the day before. At 8 o'clock the next morning, you know that Gauteng Police is adopting the same modus operandi. Based on what?
Again, the man with insight into these type of things.
No, Mr. Adams. You have the cast numbers now. You cannot rely on a dead man every time.
Ma'am,
It's unacceptable.
I understand your frustration. Let me explain mine to you, if you will. Please, please, just give me 1 second. I will explain it to you. So, what we all know, all of us, is that the South African Police Service covers for each other.